And welcome to the morning show, or Tony Caravan's garden update. As I mentioned in yesterday's program, I'm basically going to be switching gears a little bit, focusing more on the garden. Here you can see in slow-mo now that place with the landscaping black fabric. I'm probably going to put in a squash plant there. Right here, our potatoes are already in the ground, and so I've got room to add more dirt as potatoes grow, because that's the kind of thing you want to do. When we first started out in the first bed, it was moving too fast for you to see. Those are radishes. The noises you hear outside is like a bus and some traffic because they're doing road construction. I apologize for that. My rather green homemade fountain, but I did add that new solar pump or fountain to it. But the pond is like, I called it a fountain before. The pond, man, I've been trying to work it out. That's barley to clean water, and I've got some other bird safe things to work on that. But I really need a couple of, I don't know. I need a couple of good days of rain, or I've got to just I don't know how I'm going to get that sludge out of there. It's kind of disappointing, to tell you the truth. But the birds love it, and they go in there on the rocks and wash themselves and take a little drink. There's a little stick towards the end, and they go and take a drink because I have a bird feeder. You can see I managed to get my big head in the picture here, which is inevitable. I'm sweating out whether or not I got a thumb on the lens, because that happens a lot of times. But yes, Tony Caravan live. Those are stinging nettle plants. The last video I just referred to them as a herb, and they'll just keep coming back. And that's an herbal remedy. It's very, you make a tea out of those, and but if you touch them, it's like you got stung by a bee or something. I mean, you get a rash on your hand, and it's smarts. But if you boil them or steep them like a tea, they're very medicinal for you. I had no idea they would grow so out of control there. This is a kale plant I planted towards the end of last year, and it seems to be coming back to life. So this plant I have great expectations for this year, because it'll grow as tall as what you'll see as we move further down. There's two things that look like almost palm trees, but I'm not sure they're going to grow again this year or not. But just in case, I've planted some new. But yeah, look at that stinging nettle. So I've already put it in a soup, because if you boil it down, it's, the stinging part of it, it doesn't affect you, but you do get it's something that, it's one of those few things that the healing properties of it, I guess it's like green tea idea. The healing properties of this stuff don't go away if it's heated. So, you might want to read up on stinging nettle. It's pretty interesting. I have no idea why. I'm doing this voice narration after the fact, so I have no idea why I was just hovering there. Under this little glass plate, I've planted carrots, and they won't pop up for quite a while, but I'm kind of confident. I mean, I hope they didn't get destroyed, because they've been under there since we've had a few frosts. But I had burlap over them and this glass frame, so I'm kind of thinking they'll be all right. But I don't really expect them to break the surface for at least another week or so. We're looking at 70-degree weather for the next week to 10 days, and the nights are going to be in the 50s. These are the three, I should say, kales. And see, in the corner today, I just planted a little kale plant there in the corner, just in case these things don't come back to life. But kales are biannual, and you can see how big they were. I mean, you can't imagine the amount of kale I got last year. I was giving it away, in bagfuls to people. And I was using it practically every day in soups. I was even using it like lettuce once my lettuce was done, in sandwiches, just chopping it up, and salads, of course. So, I guess I'm closing in on this one here. I'm sure this will do good. See, even if we do have a frost, a colder night, say 2 weeks from now, or sometimes in May we get one of those like freak nights. The idea that we have this hot, this is a south-facing garden, and this nice black healthy dirt is getting the sun beating down on it, all day long, and the nights are in the 50, the days are 70. It's really, in this part of the yard, it gets up to 80 almost. That ground will be so hot that I won't have to worry about that. I don't think I will. I'll cover them though if I know there's going to be a frost. In this area here, this was one of my square garden areas. In that first area, I planted some cilantro. I don't know if that's going to take or if that got destroyed. These little green pop-up things you see are parsley, and that's a biannual too. So they're coming back to life, and they should be fine. And next to that, you could see on the little stick, popsicle stick, that's thyme that I planted. And that seemed to survive the frost. I had a covering over it. There's some on the far right, lower right of the screen, which you could barely see. It's just these big sticks from last year. That's sage. So I was going to just pull all that out, but I noticed on one of them, and let's see if the camera can pick it up. On one of these weird stems, I noticed like some green growth coming out of one of them. You can't really see it here, or maybe you can, but there's a possibility that those roots might reproduce again. Like I say, this is the parsley here. And then today, I just put in some basil right here. And I shouldn't have covered that. Well, back there is the thyme. Like I say, it's kind of weird when I forget where it is. But as you can see, this is a basil plant I grew inside. So I don't know if this sun is going to... I had it pretty close to a grow light. So I don't think the sun's going to kill it off. But in this plastic thing, with this little plastic cover over some little basil plants, I shouldn't have done that because one of them looks like it kind of like dwindled away. The thyme's not looking really healthy, but I don't know. I think it's going to do okay. I mean, those leaves look about the same as it's looked for like the past 2 weeks. So it's a matter of whether or not it has a spurt of growth or not. And of course, basil will get crazy too. Behind all this, and I'm not sure if I took a picture of it or not, but I think I did. I think we're heading that way now. If not, no, we're not. Well, behind there I have some oregano that is coming back from last year. And basically it just replanted itself, seeded it. Under this burlap I planted some like string beans. And I have all this like wire and chicken wire and fencing so that they can attach to that and cling and grow tall in that area. I'm going to be putting lettuce in the rest of this bed, this side of this bed. There's some garlic there in the corner from last year. I believe that's garlic. But this rest of this big wide open space that I just filled in with some fresh dirt today, probably tomorrow I'm going to plant lettuce. I have these lettuce starts. They might be too small to put in, but lettuce, my experience with lettuce is it's been pretty hardy even when it's just a seedling. And if you get a good solid week, first of all, it's a cool weather crop, so it can take it even if we do get some cool weather in 2 weeks. But I want to get it in the ground and growing there because I can't wait to just have be able to grow make my own salads out of kale, lettuce, and as you'll see a little bit later on towards the end, I've got a lot of little onion plants growing. There's just another view of under that burlap is where I put the seeds. I have a bird feeder on the other side of my lawn, backyard here, so I don't want the birds going in there and grabbing those, bean seeds. That's too tempting for them. So I'll just keep that there till they break the soil or become till they become actual plants. And we should be getting over to the other side here because there's only about 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes left in this video. Don't know why we're kind of freezing up here. I hope we're not frozen up. You never know with these darn computers these days. That's my nice little view of my walk. Well, anyway, this over on this other side is where I'll plant my tomatoes and peppers, but I'll have to wait till later on. So I still have that covered over with cardboard. But hopefully we don't run out of time before you get a glimpse towards the back of this little area where I've got some volunteer oregano coming in, a lot of onion plants that I think a couple of those bushels I'm going to separate and put them somewhere. We didn't get to them yet, but I'm hoping we will in the last 30 seconds. There they are. Those are the various onions. And in the far upper left corner, if we do get a view of that at all before time runs out, there are some peas and bean plants. Yeah, we're in high speed now. There's the oregano. I planted some other herbs in there. I forget where those two plastic things are. And underneath that burlap there are the beans and pea plants. And they're coming through. Thanks for watching, and I'll keep you updated. Cheers.